Is it on? Are you able to hear me? Is there any problem?
Guruji, have you started chanting the prayer? Then we can't hear you.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Start. ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। अर्जुन उवाच अहो बत महत्पापम् कर्तुं व्यवसिता वयम् यद्राज्यसुखलोभेन हन्तुं स्वजनमुद्यताः. A brief summary of what we have done so far. Arjuna gets into the big conflict as to whether what he is doing is right. Waging the war, killing our own people, killing our own teacher, killing our own great role models like Bhishma Pitamaha. It looks to him that no, it's not right. After all, what is the purpose for which we are doing all these things? Yadrajya sukhalobena hantam swajanam udyataha vayam. We have come here with the greed, with the selfishness to get the kingdom and the associated luxuries and others. No, no, no. It will bring a lot of papa to me, to all of us. And we are involved in this ghora karma, which brings tremendous amount of sin to us. And therefore, he just sits down in the chariot, unable to get a solution for that. Then comes Krishna Bhagavan. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Api Chedasi Papebhyaha Sarvebhya Papakruttamaha Sarvam Gnana Pravenaiva Vrujanam Santarishyasi. No, Arjuna, you are not a sinner. But even we assume for a moment that you are a sinner and you are the biggest sinner of the world. So what is the way out? It is proper understanding. It is the proper jnana, the right knowledge. That knowledge, if you understand, then all these sins will go away. So it says, Sarvam Gnana Pravenaiva, Vrujinam Santarishyas. He'll be able to do that. What is that right jnana? For that, you have to understand. What is the eligibility of a student for that? That Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadekshanti Te Gnanam Nanidastattvadarshinaha. Pranipata, Pariprashna and Seva, the three dimensions that you have to do. That is complete surrender, opening up the mind to the knowledge that is coming out. Then you should not simply accept that. You must question, 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 go deeper and deeper. And finally, along with that, you should have the seva. That is to overcome the physical thing, you must have this thing. So with these things, eligibility, you will go to a teacher who is not only a gnani but also a realized person. And then, having said that, what is the right knowledge? In the next verse it says, न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. No? So Arjuna, please understand that you are not just his physical body. You have got an immortal existence. It has no birth, it has no death, and it is immortal, and it is eternal, unchanging. And in this body which gets killed, you are there as an infinite soul. And that is a total knowledge that you have to get at. So essentially there are two dimensions of existence. The body which is in a continual flux of change, goes on changing, changing, changing. Another one is that which does not change. That's our original state. So the Upanishads further elaborate and say that this body is not a single physical body, but we have got three bodies. So Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, and Karana Sharira, which have been further expanded in the Taittiriya Upanishad and other Upanishads. The Panchakosha, the five bodies we all have, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnana, Anandamaya Kosha. All these five koshas are in continual change, and it goes on changing, changing, changing. And what characterizes this entire thing is our mind, chitta, as Patanjali says. The entire thing is made out of chitta, and therefore it is all in a flux, continual flux. What governs this? What are the laws that govern them? Trifold law of Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya. And this is our body. Animane Sharira, when he says, that which goes beyond that is pure consciousness. That's our original state, he says. And Arjuna, therefore you understand, Veda vinashinam nityam yayena madamubhyayam katham sapurusha partha kam ghatayati hantikam. Arjuna, therefore understand, you are that immortal soul, you are that all-pervasive reality, and what gets killed is only the physical body. And therefore, in a real sense, nobody can kill you, nobody can kill anybody else. It is immortal, that's it. Contained in that is the concept of rebirth also is incorporated in that, in which when we die, the physical body goes, but the remaining bodies, the Manomaya, Vijnana, Anandamaya Kosha, stays there with all your personality traits. And when you come back, those personality traits show up again. And a lot of research, which I mentioned, Dr. Ian Stevenson, 1918 to 2007, did wonderful work to find out the people who remember their previous life. They went and verified. And Dr. Pashish also worked on that thing. Therefore, we are all having that personality trait, tamas, rajas, and sattva. Among them, sattva is the best. Therefore, we have to see that we move from the Annamaya to Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanandamaya koshas, and internally, the personality traits, we have to move from tamas to rajas, rajas to sattva. Then, is sattva the end? The question that comes. Krishna says, no, even if you're in the stage of sattva as you are all, he says you have to go beyond that. Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvando Nitya Sattvastaha Niryogakshema Atmavan. Yes. You have to go beyond even the sattva, and you have to go to Nirdvandvaha, Nitya Sattvastaha. So we have to go beyond the dualities, cold and heat, success and failure, praise and shame. Into that you have to reach. Yes. Therefore, we have to move from tamas to rajas, rajas to sattva, and go beyond the guna. Question comes, why? Why we have to go beyond the sattva? Because sattva is so great. The sattvic people are the role models that we are there. Why should we go beyond that? Is the question that comes. There is the answer given by him. That persons who are highly dedicated to the nation, spirituality, etc., they also suffer from various modern ailments and various diseases and problems and the pain and misery. And what to talk about the conflict between one ethics and another ethics, another duty for ethics, and what is the basis for ethics and duty and others. When such conflicts come, you have to say, you have to go beyond. Why? It is because of the bondage of the gunas that causes all these challenges. So, what is that bondage, which is the root cause? That bondage is the attachment to the results of action done by the sattvic way. Even the sattvic people who aspire to have that result, if they don't get the result, they get upset, they get tensed up, they get stressed up, and they suffer from various ailments. Therefore, we have to go beyond. And therefore, this entire creation is made of the three gunas, bound by space, time, and causation. They are governed by the trifold law of Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya. And that is the bondage that we have. We have to go beyond that. So attachment is the key. You're attached to the Annamaya Kosha and other dimension. So an accomplished Jnana master, Krishna says, is beyond that. What are the qualities of the great person? Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogathan atmanyevatmana tushtaha hita pragnasthadocyate. Two dimensions. Sita pragna, you may call it as a jivan mukta, free even while you are alive. So what are the two things? Yada sarvan kaman prajahati, all the desires, all the thoughts in the mind will be completely vanquished. You are not bound by the thoughts. All of us are all bound by the thoughts. Since we get up in the morning till we sleep, we go on thinking and thinking and thinking. You tell our mind, don't think and stop, it won't. That is the bondage that we have. So Krishna says that you have to overcome that bondage, attachment even to the desires and the thoughts. So you should be able to train that silence. How long?
Is frozen.
Hello?
Yeah, we can
Are you
hear
able
you.
to hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Can you hear us? We can hear you, Guruji.
Hello?
Namaste. Can you hear us? न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यशाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. Am I audible?
Yes, Didi.
Yes,
Ma'am, you're
Didi.
audible.
Mm. So let us continue thinking about it while he is getting ready. See, birth, death, na jayate, na mriyate. Jayate means birth, mriyate means death. I am that universal consciousness or the divine Lord, if you want to use it in the bhakti sense. I am, or awareness, which is free from birth and death. It's very interesting and useful to know that jayate mriyate, every cell in our body is continuously in a flux. As Guruji always keeps telling that there is an enormous capacity in all our cells, in all our system. It is programmed this way that we will, it's almost impossible to think. Friends, before Guruji joins, let us remember, dwell on this thought. Na jayate, na mriyate. I am that universal consciousness which has no death, no birth. Very important to know that this is happening continuously as a flux. Every cell in our body takes new birth, lives for some time, and then dies. Then why is Krishna saying that najayate nimriyate? Throughout our life, entire system is changing, changing, changing. Some new cells are being born and new cells are dying. This we use a lot in our cancer patients management. If you read Deepak Chopra's book, he very clearly brings out a very beautiful point. He compares our body to a Ganga river. What is Ganga river? Ganga river, how old is it? 5,000 years old or 3,000 or even longer. But take any drop of Ganga water from any part of the river, there is nothing permanent about it. It's a flow. Any drop from Gangotri may be 4 hours old, from Bay of Bengal it may be 1 month old. But there is nothing that is permanent. But we still call this Ganga river as Mother, eternal, constant, infinite, infinite time is the life of Ganga river. This is how our system is made of. Every cell takes birth, lives for some days, and dies. But there is an observer. the I. Who knows? I know that I was a 10-year-old child. I know that I am a 25-year-old person. I know that I am now 70. But there is a constant, unchanging, eternal me, the I, which is the one which is permanent, na jayate, na mriyate, kadachito. It is not born, it is not dying. So continuous awakeness, observer, the I is the one which is continuously unchanging, infinite. And Guruji always says, I am infinite knowledge, infinite strength, infinite creativity. That infinite, dormant, unmanifest, universal consciousness is me, the I. So stay in that I, which we can call as awareness, and we can call this as the God within, divinity within. That's why Swami Vivekananda said that we are all made of the same universal consciousness, which is manifest when you do this sadhana. The goal of life is to recognize that we are all made of divinity, and the whole purpose of living is to manifest this divinity within by using these techniques of moving from rajas to tamas, tamas to rajas to sattva, and beyond sattva. All of Bhagavad Gita is to tell us that there is another state other than the one which we are living through. Guruji, are we audible to you?
Yeah,
We can
I'm
we can hear
audible.
you now. Please continue.
Yeah, okay. Nina Martidar, you only continue
No.
doing this.
No, please, you continue. People are waiting to
Mm,
listen to you.
mm.
Again, you're muted. Huh? Yes,
But
we can hear you, Guruji. There's some audibility problem in Guruji's thing. So the next line says, Guruji, your audition is
here.
Let us take today's message as living in the present. As sadhakas, we have to just learn to live in the present, which is the most difficult thing to do. You are on a job, you are doing his work, your professional work. That time, it's easy to live in the present. You are solving a problem, you are interacting with persons who need your help, or on the computer for software work. That time we live in the present. But as soon as you come out of that intellectual activity, we tend to get lost in the past or the future. This is the big lesson that we have to practice always, to see that we do not get lost in the past and the future. This is what Krishna is trying to tell us, to remain in that present. Living in the present should be taken further into the next step, which we call as Yogastha Kuru Karmani. Yoga Sthiti. What is Yoga Sthiti? Yoga Sthiti is to be in unison with the universal consciousness. What do we say? Union of Jivatma with Paramatma is yoga. So we let go the final mind thoughts, get out of the Vijnana Kosha, but stay in the I, the doer, the knower, and the enjoyer. So all this is changing, changing, changing. My body is changing, my prana is changing, my mana, my kosha is changing, my angers and frustrations are changing, and our knowledge also goes on changing, which is in the Vijnana Kosha. But there is that universal I, and Swami Vivekananda, Chinmayananda used to give a very interesting example of living in the present, or giving a guidance to live in the present. Let us to take today's message as practicing until we meet Guruji next week, that I live in the present. We are going to live in the present. The past things, future things, erase, 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 erase. There are two major difficulties that we face when we are interacting with the world. One is living in the past, some good things have happened that can drive me, some major. But good things that happen in our life never remain with us. I had a wonderful time when I got a dish that I wanted to eat. I was very happy when I was smoking in the past. I am very happy when I am enjoying a motherhood. I am very happy when I was playing with my little Krishna. But all these things don't stay long. What stays long is our anger sphere. Even 20 years ago, I went through a major issue, but I'm now worrying about it, worrying about it, worrying about it. I see a large number of participants who come to us with this problem of fight with the brothers and sisters, what for property issue. And that creates so much of problem that I lose my presence, I lose my present living, I lose my presentness. So can I just switch off to stay in that universal, unchanging, eternal, silent state and go on working? What Krishna in one of these shlokas says, Yogastaha Kuru Karmani. Be established in yoga and go on working, working, working in the outside compartment. There's a very beautiful couplet in Kannada which says, ಎರಡು ಕೋಣೆಗಳ ನೀ ಮಾಡೋ ಮನದಾಲಯದಿ. In the mind, make two compartments. ವಿರಮಿಸು ಒಬ್ಬನೇ ಮೌನದೋಳ್ ಒಳಮನೆಯ ಶಾಂತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. Get established always in the internal quiet state of mind, and ಹೊರ ಕೋಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಲೋಗರಾಟಗಳ ನಾಡು. Go on working whatever whatever intensity in the outside compartment. This is what we learn by staying with Guruji. He is always in that silent state. If we are interacting with him, if we are talking to him, he is responding, but that is our outer compartment. But the inner compartment, you have established in that silent state. And if we can practice this several times in the day, that's going to change our life. That is the jnana that Krishna is trying to tell us. He talks a lot about guna atita state, beyond the three states of tamas, rajas, and sattva. What do we mean by going beyond gunas, gunatita sthiti, which is the real karma yoga we have to do? I guess, in fact, we keep saying that Bhagavad Gita was taught to Arjuna and not to Duryodhana. Why? Arjuna was already sattvic. He was full of sattva, full of goodness, full of immense power, physical power, mental power. But he gets into this conflict. This is what Guruji said last time. We see a large number of highly sattvic people who come to Prashanti with different pains and aches or the health problems. Why? Because we become oversensitive, over concerned, and get involved in our anxieties and fears that are related to the sattvic life. You may never be thinking anything bad about anybody. You may be completely sensitive to what is happening to others, completely so soft, so gentle, so clear that you may even not feel like killing a cockroach or a mosquito. Once I shall you a very interesting example. Jains are very much into this sadhanas, ahimsa. One day I was talking to one of the participants who came because of her oversensitivity and wanted to learn yoga. And while we were talking, there was a mosquito that just passed in between us. And I took my hand to do this to kill the mosquito. This girl said, "My God, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're going to kill that mosquito?" This was a very revealing thing for me, how deeply this girl was ingrained in an ahimsa. And that is the state of Arjuna in which he is talking about this component of ahimsa, satya, steya, all this he is practicing, but he is now stuck in a conflict. This is where Krishna takes us beyond sattva also. Beyond sattva concept is very important and useful for people who are very good people. But for Duryodhana, what does he need? He needs only moral injunctions. Don't hate people, don't be selfish, don't be craving for money, lokeshana, vitteshana, putreshana. Three types of desires that we all go through. Lokeshana is craving for name and fame. Vitteshana is craving for money, matter, money and possessions. And putreshana is we crave for next generation, next children that we go through, etc. So can we come out of this putreshana, vitteshana, and lokeshana? In fact, it's not easy to come out of lokeshana. When you help people, when you are doing something very good for others, we expect a small return. There's a very common uh, example that we see. Our Mohanji used to give a very interesting example as to how we should completely delete any expectation as parents or children. There is a there are there is a male and the female bird. They have decided it is time for next generation to be born. So they prepare a beautiful nest, both of them working very hard to create the nest in a very safe place. Then the egg is laid inside the nest, and the mother sits on the egg to give warmth until it hatches. Father's duty is to go and get the worm, feed the mother, and the egg hatches. the little bird comes out and it starts, oh, it is not yet ready to even open its beak and open its mouth. So mother has to go and push the beaks open and push the food inside, the worm inside, and feed the child. And slowly in the next few hours or next few days, the bird is ready to, with all its programmed functioning, and it is ready to fly out of the nest. Then what does the mother do? She goes and pushes the bird, the little one, out of the nest, and the bird is open its feather and jumping and running in the akasha. But in fact, Mohanji used to give this example for parents who sit and root that my son is not taking care of me, my son doesn't reply, he's in America, I'm waiting, 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 and then 1 week ho gaya, he has not called me, what's going to happen? And this stress continues and control, worry, 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 and they end up with health problems, is what we have been observing. So, what Mohanji would say is, once the bird is out, does the mother and father brood over any thought that this little one I have given birth to is going to take care of me, giving me support when I am old? Never. They do protect the little one until it becomes free in the flying also. We have seen many videos where the young bird is in the center and all the older birds are all flying surrounding that and never allows the young bird to be facing the difficulties in front. So when that bird becomes a mother, she will do the same thing. So this example gives us a lot of uh, understanding that we should not brood over the past, brood over the worry about the future. It is all divinity within. Stay in the divinity within and work on that. These are the wonderful thoughts that we have to practice every day, every moment. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, please stay in that universal consciousness, the background silence, by practicing it always. Pashyan, Shrunvan, Sprushan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Shwasan, Pralapan, Visrujan, Grunhan, Unmeshan. Always you are talking, you are eating, you are in the toilet, blinking, all the time maintain that internal silence and let the physical things go on. We used to have our Guruji with who used to spend lot of time with our Shastriji, was our major in highly intellectual chemistry professor who used to be totally involved in Vedanta studies. He used to tell us this concept that living in the present is not easy. We have to go on remembering that I am that universal consciousness, which is the source from which every cell works, every brain works, every mind works, and it is common to all of us. J. Krishnamurti ji used to address small children, and what he would say, how to tell them that we are all having the same common background of universal consciousness as a limited observer, and the I and the awareness, which connects with the indriyas, which connects with our mind and makes it functional. He used to give a very interesting example. Children, look at the clock in front of you. What is there in the clock? There are the numbers, there are the needles, and what is making the needle move? It is the electricity or the power, the battery cell that is there inside. So now you remove the needle, you stop the battery, you remove the needle, you remove the numbers. What is left there? If there are 10 different types of clock, once you remove all these details, what are you left with? You are left with the white screen of the clock, which is common to all the clocks. Therefore, this is what is the universal consciousness, which is potential energy, unmanifest, universal, silent, infinite, eternal consciousness, which is become my piece of Anandamaya Kosha. And what we do it to participants in Prashanti Kutiram is to help them to stay in this state of quietude, touch that Anandamaya Kosha while doing asana or pranayama or meditation or any of these advanced 8 techniques. There is a very interesting uh, phenomenon that we observe in Prashanti Kutiram. People come with large number of illnesses, which is traceable to mind body disease or lifestyle disease. I had one participant who had high blood pressure. His BP was not coming down even after 4 or 5 days. Suddenly, on the 5th day of his stay in Prashanti, he got his BP dropped down drastically to 120/80. And we were wondering what is happening, why this is happening. And I asked him, what do you think, sir, is the reason why your BP came down today? Then we know what he said. This morning at 5:30 a.m., there is this home meditation session which I enjoy a lot. You must have been a good practitioner, listening to a lot of good thoughts, very sattvic person. And this home meditation, I enjoy, madam, when you say focus on the home, focus, 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 then take the japa into your heart and start chanting effortlessly, pratyaya ekatanata. You expand, 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 and I really enjoy that. And today morning, something unusual happened, madam. What is that? I was doing this, enjoying that. When I opened my eyes, everybody in the hall had left, including the instructor. Time, I don't know how much time has passed. I said, maybe you had gone to sleep 5:30 a.m., cold day. You must have slept off. He says, no, madam. Definitely not. I was not in sleep. उनका बात में बोलना है तो बोलते हैं मैं ओम बन गया था. That means that period where he was totally silent, he says that he had become Om, and it was such an enjoyable state that I that had lingering on until this afternoon when the BP was checked. I am enjoying that Omkara Taranga in the whole of the campus, whole of my body. I am drowned in that Om Nada, and I'm doing all my asanas in that, my pranama in that drowned state of Om, which is reverberating in the entire hall here, entire campus here. This is the experience of intense staying in the present, which is the one which is the biggest healer within also. We get out of all our limitations, we get out of all our past concerns and future concerns. So na jayate na mriyate va kadachito nayam bhutva na bhavita. I am neither born, I am neither going to be not born future. Bhavita va na bhuyaha. These are the thoughts which are very, very useful and interesting for our sadhana. And you are all blessed to be with Guruji, guiding us continuously so that we will go on with our practices and memorize some of these shlokas. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः. I am eternal, nitya, eternal, infinite. Remain in that thought that I am made of that infiniteness, vastness. Take the example of the space. Space is infinite. So remain in that Akasha Bhava, space Bhava. Nityam Ajo Nityan, this person, me, the I, which is Ajaha, not born, Nityaha, eternal. So remain in that infinite universal consciousness, merge yourself in that universalness. That is what Patanjali calls as Ananta Samapatti. Merge in that infinite, endless, universal space, the consciousness. Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purana. I am that Shashvata, non changing, eternal, infinite. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. You are not going to be killed, although you are in the killable body. Your body may perish, body may be killed, but you are not going to be killed. This thought we use a lot in handling our cancer participants. When they come, what is the biggest fear they have? Fear of death. Once the cancer word is declared, they will definitely be counting their days, told or untold. Only those participants whom we see who have completely come out of their fear of death are the ones who cure themselves, completely come out of cancer. We had one participant who survived cancer survivor for 15 years and completely cured. I asked him, what is it that helped you? He said he's coming from Australia and he had cured himself. He has started a beautiful center in Australia on the seashore, very beautiful place. And I asked him, how, how did you cure yourself? He says, first day when the diagnosis was made, I was really taken aback. I was fearful. Within few minutes, it was my wife who told me, hey, if doctors have told you that you are going to leave this or die in 2 months' time, let us not worry. I will accept. If you have to go away in 2 months, let us prepare ourselves. Let us not be afraid of death. And this gave me so much confidence, so much of acceptance about perishing. Then we planned that I want to resign my job, make my will for the financial commitment, removed all my uh, commitments, etc. And my wife said, okay, let us enjoy these 2 months with our children, go on a holiday. I went to the Kiwi Mountains in Japan, and we started doing lot of activities on the mountain just to be free, just to be happy, play with children, enjoy. Can you believe a cancer patient came out of his fear of death by just that one sentence the wife said? And to cut the long story short, he survived and he goes and gives his talk in various conferences. How does he come to the conference? He brings a guitar and start playing a guitar and says, let us all sing, let us all sing, and learn to be fearless and charming. I asked this Japanese fellow, what is your message for your cancer patients? You know what he says? He said, love thy cancer cells. So be positive about everything. And how is it possible? Not when you are stuck in that uncontrolled spinning suite of thoughts which are releasing wrong chemicals and destroying your entire system. Just that thoughtless, fearless consciousness is at the background, and that is the one which is going to help us to move towards our goal. I am very happy to see that so many of you are listening to Guruji with this one single dhyaya that we should move towards this experience, that I slow down the entire functioning, create balance, and merge in that universal consciousness. Remain in that universal consciousness is the only goal with which all of you are attending these classes. I wish Jodo has just joined. He is also another very senior practitioner who gets completely immersed in this thought and lives in the present. Friends, let us take this opportunity of Saturday morning where we tune to Guruji and work with his understanding, putting everything in a very scientific language and work towards that. Judubhaya, would you like to say something about Guruji or experience with Guruji?
Namaste. Namaste.
Yeah, please share your experience with the listeners. Today, Guruji is out of internet because of the net problems. Would you like to share your experience with Guruji?
Um, Actually, for me, it is a long learning experience right from the beginning, and um, more than listening, my personal experience has been learning from him through the through various of his observing various of his activities day to day. So that was a big inspiration because many of us sadhakas, often theoretical knowledge is fine, but then always there remains a question that how it can be converted into practices. So once we have examples before us, that is something really a great fortune, I would say, and we are really blessed that we were able to have Guruji with us for guiding in those time. So that was my big thing. Of course, lot of questions and lot of going back and thing. And one thing which I felt that to make use of Guruji's best ability is to ask questions with some preparation. If we put some effort in thinking our own self, what is how it could be, how this could have happened, and then ask question, then the answer that we get based on that is something really it takes us to the next level. So with preparation, if you are able to engage with him in interaction, this I felt very unique in all my interactions with him. This is in brief, Didi.
What was your experience that changed your life with Guruji, or something unique about Guruji's interactions that you had?
The main thing is the Vedantic teachings, the theoretical thing that was there, but then the concept of karma yoga, which I particularly learned from him. Still, I'm a student of his in that perspective. So that is something which I felt can be learned only by observing closely. So all the things, small little things like the emails that we send and the responses that we get, and observing him how he interacts in the meetings and difficult situation decisions, small little things, but that really goes back deep inside our heart because it is a trivial things which impacts our mind, how we see our teachers, how they are able to emulate the different action in different types of conflicts. That is something which is something I recollect as a strong message for me.
Thank you, Guru. Anybody else want to share anything? Another 5 minutes are there.
Namaste, this is Purnima.
Mm.
It was a wonderful session. Didi, if you ask me today's experience, it is very good. And one thing that I would like to take is that I always had this question, right? Even when we reach this Sattvic Guna, we are done. And then I think today's session gave answer for it. That's a very eye-opening for me. Looking forward to many more sessions like this. Many questions that were there inside were answered today. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, ma'am.
What was that changed you? This concept of Gunatita.
Yes, ma'am. Correct. Yes, Didi.
Mm.
I was in a no. When we reach this Sattvic Guna, that's it, and we are done. And then today's session, it's eye opening for me.
The whole of Bhagavad Gita is only that. Every place he completely talks about this Sangha. What is this asanga? Asanga is to go beyond even goodness. That's why the sages said, you have to go about sukha dukkhe same krutva. In fact, I had a friend who used to say, what is this? You are taking sukha, telling sukha also you should not enjoy. And dukkha, of course, you have to come out. I don't believe in this. She says, we want to live in this society, go through all the dukkhas, go through all such good things, and try to live the life completely as it comes. But when the problems are there, we get lost, we get into deep fears, deep depressions. This is where we have to remember Krishna. In all chapters, in all shlokas, he completely dwells on this concept. Don't get lost in your positive emotions or negative emotions, because they are all the functions, changing functions. That is the Manomaya Kosha activity. Your Vijnanamaya Kosha should be continuously be observing and telling us, switch off, switch off, switch off. Switch off your thoughts, stay in that silence, and let the activity go on. These are, it's probably Krishna is continuously in all the chapters giving us this new idea which is going beyond sattva. And that is what we see in Guruji.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, but I have one question. Can I ask?
Yeah, it's already
Uh,
9:45. Okay, please ask. Others can answer also. Yeah, what
okay,
is the
thank you,
question?
ma'am. My question is, so at the end we talked about living in the present, not to, I mean, dwell on the good things and then not to dwell on the bad things like anger, grudge, things
Mm.
like this. But my question is, so why do good things fade away very easily and then the things like grudge, anger pertains? Any reason?
Very interesting question. There is this concept of happiness analysis, where we know that when the bhoga vastu and our indriya connected with the desiring object, they unite, we enter into that temporary silence inside. This is the concept of happiness analysis. And if you have heard Guruji's talks on rasgulla example, you take one rasgulla, you're happy. You take second rasgulla, you're more happy. Third, fourth, fifth, you become nauseated and you want to throw it away. Why? Because the indriya touching the tongue pushes you into that silence temporarily. The sukha is temporary because we are so much habituated to activity, activity, activity. And if that activity stops, then only you can touch that sukha state, even during bhoga sukha. But Madhusudanji, please mute yourself. We can't hear you. Please mute yourself. Okay. So therefore, sukha, that silent state, we are not habituated to it. This is exactly what Krishna is telling us. If you practice that silence several times in the day, then there is no, you can be established in that high level of sukha. And dukkha is uncontrolled speed which swallows us, uncontrolled spinning speed of thoughts. When we are in dukkha, we are so much habituated to be in that activity, activity, activity. There, and we get lost in that and brood over that. Abhinivesha has happened, and therefore that remains for a long time. Whereas sukha, which is just a small touch of that silence behind, that universal consciousness behind, that we cannot retain because we are not habituated to that. That is the reason why 365 days without fail, make it a vrata that we dwell in that inner silence using our mantra without using the mantra. And this practice for 1 hour every day is the one which will help you to remain in that even bhoga sukha for longer durations. Okay, I think we have.
Ma'am.
Okay, shall we close this? Thank you. Namaskar. Somebody has raised the hand. Namaskar ji. Dhanyavad. Thank you. Thank you, Judo.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Didi. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you so
madam.
much, ma'am. Namaste.
Thank you, Didi.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Didi. Namaste.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.